over the last couple of weeks and into the next couple of months is, if we are working in this way with smaller numbers, more restricted in terms of space and what people can do, what should and can we as coaches shine the light on with our players to help them over the coming weeks and months?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that we can really one thing to start with that we need to consider. So Steve rightly said about us as coaches probably wouldn't have seen the kids or players for a while. So that reconnection is important. However, we also need to consider, as importantly, even more importantly, really, is the players wouldn't have seen each other. So how we plan for and consider that is vital, especially with adolescents, sort of teenagers, boys and girls. But even with younger players or older players, just that sense of connection with each other. So we need to get that right. So as well as absolutely getting the sort of safety from the point of view, the guidance right, making sure that we do create that type of psychological safety, for like an environment where, because it might be new, might be different, people haven't seen each other, things have changed. So people do feel comfortable back around this place, even though the players might look and feel a bit different. So that as a start point is vital. And then we'll get to shining a light. I think there's a couple of things to consider. One, as always, keep in mind why the players come. What do they want from the football experiences? Because that might guide the types of activities that we put on for the children, players, adults, boys or girls, whoever it is that are coming. So what I mean by that is, if it's a more of a social type environment where players come to play with their mates and to engage and to stay healthy, then real like fun games where you can use little net games, or when I'm saying games, not against each other, but games and competitions and those little ideas, which you can see some of the activities on the website. Or if you're then working like Sam is with more intentional players who are maybe a bit advanced in terms of the age, but also where they're at with a football journey, then you might be able to do some patterns of play and things like when you get to like Sam, that level and stage. So, but that depends on why do the players come and what do they really need from their experience. So again, the social environment is massive, bearing in mind the distancing and how we frame that, and then working from the motives of why the boys or girls or adults or whoever come and play. Now from that, when we get to the actual practical bit of the coaching and the sessions, what we can do, as you mentioned with Sam, so there's an opportunity to shine light on some individual technical and tactical ideas. What we mean by that is different ways of connecting with the ball, the real control of the ball, or like really helping the kids to notice and getting what it feels like, what good connections of the ball, and some of that technical work which might get overlooked. However, where we can, I think it's really good to get elements of decision making into the practices. So if you have got moving targets, or as you said, Andy, things that block, so it might be people or things in the way that you've got to try and see and keep the players trying to having to look and search and scan where possible. All these things help with the transfer into the game. So where we can, if you have those, so if you've got one example, if you maybe shooting into a mini goal, or you might have two goals where there's a defender in between 10 yards away that they're trying to block, but there's one defender blocking two goals. So as you're looking up, you've still got to see where the defender is and perceive that. So instead of just having one goal to score, you've got to see where the defender is. So you've got to decide which goal is the empty goal. So even little things like that can actually just challenge the players thinking that little bit more than knowing where the ball's coming from and knowing where the ball's going to, and them helping shine light on their individual skills and capabilities, and maybe help them with the variety of techniques. So if they're used to just playing with the inside of the foot passes, then maybe it's a good time to try and ask them to play with the outside of the foot or different parts of the foot, or smooth passes along the floor, or skillful lofted passes or scoops. And it's like, I think it's important, as I said, it's all part of this environment, to keep that type of spirit going through it, where they can still be creative, even though it's not game based like they might be used to.
Yeah, I think the reason I said about the decision making one before I go on to Steve and Sam was just that, also just from sort of experience of being around sort of kids and over the last few months, is that they've done tons and tons of isolated technical work. So in some ways, the last thing they might want to do is come to training and then get that again. So it's also trying to understand what they've already had over the last 12, 14, 16 weeks of probably been in a garden on their own with a ball, with a stationary goal or a wall that they can play off. So actually, how can we start to offer some of the variety in what they're doing, as well as still adhering to all obviously the guidance that's out there? Sam, Steve, anything to add on what Graeme said?
Yeah, I'll just throw in, like, I was just actually thinking about this the other day, just linking to some practice design and things. And I know we just spoke a lot there about being on the ball and the technical stuff, but kind of thinking outside the box, I was thinking there's a great opportunity to start working with players about recognizing space. So if you think about your practice design, you've got to design a practice where your players are within 2 meter distance of other players. So I know a lot of grassroots coaches probably struggle with the little ones, or sort of bees around a honeypot, if you like, and probably got a great opportunity now to start helping them think about spaces, because your practice design's got to lend itself for that to happen, and kids understanding when and where and kind of what the space looks like. And I suppose that goes right across the spectrum. That's not just for like the foundation phase. That probably goes right up to the 11v11 game, what I'm working at. And again, I keep going back to the challenging yourself as a coach with some of these constraints and things around practice design. I think it's something we speak about quite a lot around. You get your practice design right and you'll get your returns of practice. And what a great opportunity to work with some of this stuff going forward over the next few weeks.
Steve, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed listening to Graeme and Sam there. I mean, it is, and it goes back to the beginning, Andy. It's exciting. A couple of things I would add, linking with Graeme and Sam. It also gives us, we mustn't forget to consult and involve the players. What are they excited about? Practicing and improving technically. Don't be afraid to ask them. And also, leading on to Graham's really good insight, that there might some of our boys and girls might be missing a bit of competition and a competitive edge. Well, be creative. You might want to build in one or two constraints to make it competitive, and equally use your imagination. Bring in some point scoring, get them challenging each other, and get them pushing each other along, because we know that how that generates that energy and that fun. And we know boys and girls playing football want to be competitive in some way. So yeah, again, safety, really great opportunity to work on tech and tack and other aspects of their development. And let's make sure that they really enjoy it.
Thanks, Steve.